Hey everybody, so this is going to be just a brief video walking you through how to use our VWU library resources, but also other resources available to you in order to conduct literature reviews for your final project. So the easiest way to access Virginia Wesleyan's resources through the Hofheimer Library is just to go to the homepage. So www.vwu.edu, and it should take you here. Then if you click My Beacon over here in the corner, and then scroll down just a little bit, you'll see there's quick links for students and quick links for staff and faculty. And in either one, you'll find the link to the library. Okay, so now you're at the libraries page. I've posted links on the assignment for your hypotheses to several of the research guides. These are really helpful. So this is a nice place to start. There is one specifically for online students that I'll scroll by here for you and that I've linked for you. And then the one that I'm going to take you to right now is the one for psychology. So this will let you know about all the references and books we have accessible, and certainly if you are close enough to campus, feel free to go to campus and make use of those resources. But I know for some of you that just won't be feasible, but that is okay because we have access to a lot of great resources electronically. One is you can find ebooks through just a search. So where it says here, find books, media, articles, and more. If you search things there, it can help you find things. So let's say that you are wanting to do your paper about depression, really common disorder. So you could search depression here, just in books. Okay, and now it's going to come up with various resources we have about depression. What you'll see is that it searches automatically in libraries worldwide, and there's over 1 million things. Obviously, you would want to maybe narrow that down a little bit. So maybe you'd want to do depression women. Okay, maybe you want to specifically look at it in women. Here we go. Women and depression, depression and women. And what you'll see is some of these have ebooks right here. So view ebook, boom. This will have you log on with your username and password. So in this case, for me, it is my email. And then I changed my password recently, so I have to remember it. Ta-da! And that will take you to the full ebook, and then you'll have access to it as if you picked an actual book up off the shelf, which is really cool. So you'll be able to read it, and most ebooks you'll be able to click through the chapters, which is really great too, so you don't have to scroll through the whole thing. So that is obviously one great resource that's available to you. I'm just going to back up to the library guide again. If you click Find Articles here at the top, this is going to take you to the most helpful thing. You're going to want to go to PsycInfo. And this is the APA's research database for basically every article published in psychology, plus it will also search things like dissertations. I'm going to recommend for your paper, really try to stick to things that are published. If they're not, you might even want to just shoot me an email and be like, can I cite this? Oh, that's cool. Okay, so let's say here we want to search depression in women again, right? So I'm going to type depression in, and then you can actually type women in as a second term here, telling it, look for both of these things. Then you can just click search. Just a side note that there are all kinds of other ways you can limit things. So it is searching. Okay, and again, 49,000 different results. So maybe you would, again, want to try to narrow it in some ways. And there are lots of really nice ways that you can, that it gives you right over here on your left-hand side. So you can limit it just to a peer-reviewed journal. So those are things that other experts in the field have vetted before they were published. You could limit it by publication year. You could limit it by author if you know a particular author you're really interested in their work. You can do it by population group. So if you specifically only wanted to look at things that had women, right, you could click here. Let's say you got really interested in depression in trans individuals as you were looking through this. You could click here and that would narrow it down for you. One thing that will come in helpful later on when you start to think about your method section is you can click over here on tests and measures, and it will actually show you the various measures that are used in these different articles, which is really, really cool. And then what I always recommend you do if you want to find that particular that particular scale, there we go, is that you then just do a Google search. So I'm just gonna type over this, and let's say I was looking at that and I thought, well, I wanna look at the Beck depression inventory. That was one of the ones listed. A lot of times you'll be able to find, like right here, a PDF of the actual measure itself, which is pretty darn cool. Okay, and other times you'll be able to find like the original article where it was. So that is, again, a nice way to narrow stuff down. Now, the other great thing about how this is structured in our PsycInfo search is that if there is an access to the full text, it'll usually indicate right here with this little like open lock that says open access. So when you click find full text, it'll just say view full text. You click on it and it will take a minute to load. But then you will have access to the entire article. And if you don't like scrolling down like that, you can click as a PDF and you can tell it you want to download it that way. So really helpful. But let's say we're really interested in maybe a more specific article. Like, let's say I decided I'm actually interested in depression in transgender individuals, and maybe trans women in particular, right? So again, just giving you another example, here are direct links to when we have access to the PDF. This is often because we have a subscription to that particular journal, which is great. And again, here's the whole PDF. You're good to go. Save this to your computer and you can cite it and use it. But as you scroll down, you might find that there are ones that look really interesting that might not have that. So like here's one, sexual distress in transgender persons, 2-year follow-up data. So maybe you're like, ooh, that would be really helpful. Okay, so here you might click find full text. Oh, and there's not a full text, okay? And that's just pretty common. So one thing the research librarians have asked me to tell you to do at that point is you go back to the library website, and there's something called the Journal Finder that you can find a link to right across the top here. And then what you're gonna do is look here. Okay. I might have lost it, hang on. I've got things popping up on me. Okay, so this was in the Journal of Sexual Medicine. So now if I go to the Journal Finder, I can search. We don't have access to it. So that's fine. It means that we just want to look for the article itself through what's called Interlibrary Loan. So you would click this request through Interlibrary Loan. And one side note I'm going to say is that sometimes when you click that link to find full text, it will take you to the journal's website and it will ask you to buy the article for usually around $40 an article. Don't never do that, okay? Click this Interlibrary Loan link. It will take you to this, and through our associations with other libraries worldwide, you'll be able to get it free of cost, okay? So to sign into Interlibrary Loan, you need your VWU barcode number. So this is on your ID underneath the barcode. There's a little tiny numbers. You might need your glasses for your glasses to see it. And then if it's your first time signing in, I believe you have to tell it to set reset password. I know a lot of cyber people would tell me not to do this. I leave mine saved in Google so that I don't have to find it every single time. So here is how I would submit this interlibrary loan request. And the great thing is that it populates everything for you from that article. You would tell them when you need it by. Typically, for journal articles, you're going to get them within 24 to 48 hours. But I usually tell them by like when the assignments due. And then you would say it's for this course. It would populate all your information. And then you would click submit. I'm not going to click submit because I'm not going to make Stephen Leist, who tells our ILL, find this article for me when I don't necessarily need it. But it's really easy. And then you just get an email when it's available. You follow the link and you download the PDF and now you have it to use. And again, it usually takes about a day to get it. And I've had them, if Stephen's like at his desk and the other libraries on top of things, I've had them come within a couple hours. So definitely do not hesitate to use this service. It is a great service. And again, never, ever, ever pay for a journal article because we can just use this. All right, so I've showed you all the various ways you can narrow things down. And again, scrolling through, there might be some that actually look interesting and then some that you're like, that's not that helpful. So one other quick note I want to tell you about, just as we look at this sample article here, is that at the bottom of the introduction, the last part of the introduction, there will typically be their hypotheses. So it will describe the study and it will say, what they think will happen. So in this case, it's an intervention study, a treatment study. So they said a mental health intervention targeting young adult sexual minority women may be particularly effective in shaping lifelong health trajectories and preventing the onset and persistence of psychiatric and substance disorders. It's a little bit of a complicated hypothesis. Yours do not have to be that complicated, but just to give you an example. And then I will also show you another one here. So again, here's another of those sample articles that we pulled up. And if I go to the end of their introduction, here are their hypotheses. So they're trying to overcome some limitations, and here is what they are predicting they will find based on this. So again, there's other great links to look at how those might be formulated with the information for this assignment. Now, the last thing that I do want to show you all here is Google Scholar. So if you're not familiar with that, you type scholar.google.com. As you can see, I use it quite frequently, so it pops up as soon as I press S. Yeah, the life of an academic. And then when you go there, it gives you this nice search bar, and you can then search. So again, let's say we decided we really do want to narrow it down to not just women, but depression in transgender women, which, as you can see, is actually an option here that it'll autofill for us. Now it's going to give you a list of articles related to that. The really nice thing about Google Scholar is it doesn't only do psych journals. So if you're looking at something that there might be more information in, like a sociology journal or a medical journal or even a women's and gender studies journal, these can be really helpful. And again, very similar to the library searches, if there is a PDF available, it will let you know. And so again, here is a link directly to that article, which is really helpful. And so here is gender abuse and major depression. Again, another link directly to that article. I believe this should be the full text. Yep. So again, you could just read this whole thing, and there should be a place where you can get the whole PDF as well. So as you can see, lots of those are being made available now, which is really great. And again, let's say you track down one that looks really good and you want to request it for interlibrary loan, you can actually click on this link, get all the information, go back to interlibrary loan from the libraries page and fill it in. Or you can go into PsycNet, PsycInfo, which might be a little easier, search this particular article, and then ask for interlibrary loan for that article. So those are some really helpful resources in terms of how you start tracking things down, not only for your hypotheses section, but also for your literature review, which will become your introduction, and also start thinking about your method, like which measures are you going to use. All right, so hopefully this helped and gives you a nice little quick clarification and overview of how to access all the great sources that are out there. And please contact your instructor of record if for any reason you need clarification.